As the sun comes up on a summer of international rugby, Stuart Lancaster and most of his England squad have already left for New Zealand. But those left to defend the fortress still have the chance to catch the eye of the head coach.
Dave Ewers, good start from him.
That's how elusive that man is.
I see it very much as a positive to work with those broader group of players and see what they're about and learn about them.
Under Dean Ryan, the Barbars are an outfit packed with talent and experience on their usual mission, and that is to entertain.
Oh, Jose Gia, a brilliant try from Gia.
And now it's James over the top. James had an awful lot to do, and he made sure that he did it.
Rogadunko, Smokin' Joe.
Jerusalem rings around Twickenham ahead of the final action this season here at Rugby's headquarters. It is the annual England Barbars encounter. Places on the plane to New Zealand up for grabs, and match commentary comes from Dowie Morris and Simon Ward.
Thank you, Alex. Yes, what a beautiful day and a beautiful stage for this match. You suspect there's two teams with somewhat differing agendas this afternoon, probably contrasting modus operandi as well. Structure against flair, method against improvisation. We shall see how the blend works for both teams this afternoon. Well, here's the lineup for the home team, an England 15 which Graham Kitchener has the honour of leading out. He'll pack down alongside Kiwi convert Michael Patterson. Huge responsibility on the shoulders of those three young front rowers. Harrison, Buchanan and Sinclair can really come of age today. Talking responsibility, Henry Slade takes the 10 shirt. His evolution through from age groups continues. Charged along with Simpson and Hill to release the potent threats of Bath pair, Joseph and Rokodanguni, as well as, of course, Daly and Sharples in that back three. Well, you want potency, you look no further than that back line. 5 All Blacks in there with threats inside and outside. Mouth-watering combinations this afternoon. Up front, well, there's plenty of muscle there too, with Gorgotzilla, Mamuka Gorgodze, a human battering ram to dent that England defence. 13 of that starting 15 ply their trade in the top 14. 18 of the 23-man squad do. But there's 18 new Barbarians in the squad. None more proud, you suspect, than Donnacha O'Callaghan. He's been waiting for this moment since he was a child in Cork. Well, an all-international bench for the Barbars, including 2 more All Blacks in Hoare and Tuatapaki. Could be a big afternoon for Will Collier. The tight head Q seems to have a place for either him or Sinclair, you think? Well, Dowie alongside me, 2 teams you suspect with different objectives this afternoon.
Yeah, I think so. A kaleidoscopic collection of countries and cultures come together as one again to wear the famous black and white shirt. A shirt that represents all that is good about the greatest team game in the world. A game for every shape and size, and also any reason to have a party afterwards. But before we start pulling the pints, let's look as one person has pulled the crowds in today. Joe Rokothoko, 63 internationals and 46 tries. What a strike rate. Given the ball in space, he can still pose a fearful threat. England's youngsters, beware.
It really has so many fascinating contrasts almost within the two teams, and as you say, when you see that squad wearing black and white, it is sumptuous to say the least, but they have got a reputation to restore, according to our old mate Dean Ryan.
Well, they do. I mean, in the olden days, they weren't allowed to kick the ball, but I think these boys in white may kick the ball a little bit today. And just 5 caps in the whole 23-man squad suggests a soporific day at HQ for England. I don't think so. It's a superb opportunity for all the England players to market their wares and show Stuart Lancaster that they should be considered for future honours, and maybe even on this tour to New Zealand.
Yes, previously this match was really seen as a festival event, but right now all those guys wearing white will be pumped up for maybe their biggest rugby audition so far. There is a flight leaving for New Zealand tomorrow. Are there seats on it? You can bet your bottom dollar that all those guys have got their passports wrapped at the bottom of their team bags.
Well, Joe Lydon said it. Luke Wallace, for me, is definitely one of those. And why he's not out with the initial 31 baffles me. constantly brilliant for Harlequins. He is outstanding over the ball and also possesses audacious handling skills. Unfortunately, it's the number on his back that stops his progress.
Well, before we start the action, we will of course have the national anthem led by the official national anthem singer here at Twickenham, Miss Laura Wright. Well, a top-class start from Laura Wright. It's going to be top-class action. You can bet your bottom dollar for this game. 700-plus caps of experience in that Barbars lineup versus 3 capped players in the England 15, but the preparation for this has been almost polar opposites. The England side have been together 2 weeks now, the first of which was with the senior coaches laying down the game plan which Messrs Lancaster, Farrell, Catt and Roundtree have developed. Now they've got to show that they are the personnel that can deliver. For Dean Ryan on the other side, well, perhaps the loosest of frameworks when you've got quality in your side like that.
It's not Dean's way, though, is it? He likes his teams to be structured with a lot of flair. So hopefully with just those 3 sessions together, he's put something in play. But they have 7 nationalities in the pack alone. That'll make line-out calls slightly difficult.
Mathieu Reynal, the 32-year-old Catalan, getting his first taste of refereeing either England or Barbarians. Well, here we go. Joe Lydon, the RFU head of international player development, said last week we saw young players grow in their understanding, their stature and their appreciation of the environment. The buzzword this week has been opportunity.
Opportunity, then to get your opportunity for me, I think they just have to keep their structure. There's a few guys, we see Patterson there, Kitchener been around a bit, Kitchener, he needs to push on a little bit. Patterson obviously decided he thinks his future's with England. The big tight head there, Sinclair, he's got a great opportunity. Oh, it's all to play for.
Well, Brock James starts the game and hits his opposite number, Henry Slade. Wind back less than a year ago, and it was Slade and Hill who were the linchpin of the England under-20s team that won the Junior World Championship against Wales. Now they've got a chance to show they can take a further step up. It'll be fascinating to see how Slade directs his team around the park, especially against an opposition like the Barbarians. Can't afford any loose kicks this afternoon.
And it's Hernandez putting his toe on it. Nicknamed the Magician, so we might see if he's got a little bit about him today. He's got a very, very powerful boot whether he's going for goal or out of hand. And like I said, the Barbars will go when it's on for them. They're not going to play suicide rugby all the time and all over the place. So it's time just to settle things down, even though it's only a minute into the game. They'll just want to get their play going, and I'm sure Donncha Callaghan will love to nick a few of these lineouts.
Well, there's one. The Munster burglar has already put one in his pocket, and warning signs, if they were needed, to Messrs Patterson and Kitchener. Almost a chance for England to break away out of their own 22. Kitchener and Donncha Callaghan. Kitchener said he was a boyhood hero of his. What a big day it is for Graham Kitchener in every way.
That's Krier going up. Are we going with Krier or Kruger today? Krier. We're going with Krier.
If you spit too much down the mic, we may have to change that.
But again, it's the communication with the two of them. Donncha Callaghan, which is about a pounce. They pushed the hooker, Buchanan, to go a little bit further over the top, the lob ball, and that's when Krier came and nicked it.
Well done. Jean-Jacques Krier, of course, now plying his trade with Racing Metro, and such a key figure in getting Racing Metro back on the tracks in the top 14. They had such a dud start to the season. Everybody seemed to be struggling under the 2 new coaches, but Krier, I'm told, was a principal cog in making sure that Racing machine started operating in this new year as it was after Christmas. There's Benson Stanley, of course, plies his trade with Clermont. There's Rennie Ranger wearing 23, so just if you get confused with some of the numbers on the back of the shirts, I'm sure the England team won't be.
Well, when he comes on, there's one without a number on his shirt because they couldn't find one big enough. That's Joe Takiri, so they're all messing around out there at the moment. Nobody can really hold on to the ball. Brock James is looking, what shall I go? Shall I go for the post? No, that's good, because he would have had a nice chorus of boos if he had gone for the post. And now he gets a lovely light applause.
There is an expectation, isn't there?
Of course.
Because we know what this game is about. We know what the expectation is. In many ways, that's the difficulty for this England side, because they've got to not be drawn into that carnival atmosphere.
Absolutely. And they've just got to keep hold of the ball at the moment. There's just ball going over. See Dean Ryan on the left. Mike Tindall was at the big fight last night, I believe. Didn't see it personally, but apparently it was amazing.
Well, Mike Tindall, of course, was captaining the Barbarians a year ago. And now, having had a season's experience in coaching with Gloucester, now trying to put this Barbarians team into the right mood, mould the right sort of frame. And the forwards already flexing their muscles up front. Jimmy Cowan waiting for the ball to be developed. There's Rokothoko, throws it wide. Well, El Majo had skates on there rather than studs. They're going to go back, I think, in any case.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He knew a penalty was coming. Rokothoko, keep hold of the ball. Don't pass it, mate. Look at that strike. What did I say? 47 tries in 60-odd internationals. Unbelievable.
Well, if you look at his season's record this season, Dowie, 9 tries for Bayonne, and you see how badly Bayonne have done in the top 14. That is some achievement in itself, I suspect.
And there's Godzadze. He was right in the middle of that rolling maul when he got brought down.
Well, Gogodze is going to be heading for Toulon next season, replacing Joe van Niekerk, as if they haven't got enough players. Of course, a historic day yesterday, winning their first Breclair de Brenner since '92, and of course now doing the double, first team since Toulouse 4 years later. So it's only going to get more difficult in Europe, isn't it?
Godzilla is going to Toulon because they need a bit of extra beef over there.
They were so light. They've only got Chris Masoi to come back in number 8 and Stefan Armitage, and it really is a chocolate box over there for Murad Boujalal to taste. Right now, it's a bit of grunt and grind from the Barbarians forwards. England doing well just to stall that for now.
Excellent. Absolute excellent. Just wait your time, get low on the ground, and when they go forward, just hit them down, chop them down. And obviously with Barbars going forward, the putting will go to England.
Well, there's Graham Kitchener, only the second time he's captained a team in 4 years. The last was Worcester Warriors in a friendly 4 years ago. So a big moment for Kitchener. No surprise, I suppose, that a Leicester Tiger is here at Twickenham. I guess the surprise, it's a Sunday, not a Saturday. 11 previous years, they've been trotting out the Premiership final.
Yes, indeed. And going back to career, obviously he was a Northampton Saint, so I wonder whether he was down watching his old team. A few interesting TMOs.
Yes, you could say that. I'm sure the discussions are still going on around clubs and pubs in the country as to what happened yesterday here, but
they can do, but you just read the papers in the morning. The result is the result. So what this result, anyway, we could do with a try. Liven things up.
Now, how is this England 8 going to set their stall out against this huge Barbarians pack? Sonato Malolu, Tiu Paulo and David Kubriashvili are some solid, stern citizens in the front of that Barbars front row. Difficult pick-up for England. They're having to rescue that. Simpson with a very, very good clearance. But Joe Simpson knows he's playing against Jimmy Cowan.
Good initial scrum. Harrison doing well, Sinclair doing well, Buchanan in the middle, and then the pressure and the power come on, and then he's straight over it. Leguizamon, you can see just all over the England back row. Dave Muir is like a rash, and then Jimmy Cowan coming around the corner. He puts his shot, he's just saying that he's there. Jimmy's got plenty of tough stickers on him.
Well, 6 weeks ago, those two were battling it out on this turf in the so-called Stinger for Wasps against Gloucester. Simpson has had a really good season, benefiting from playing inside Andy Goode, you suspect. Cowan, though, we're told, is moving on. We don't know where to at the moment. Elliot Daly almost getting past this man. A year ago, he was wearing the Barbarians 15 shirt, and now he's got the England 15 on his back. Carl Sinclair. Sean Fitzpatrick was lauding the Harlequin's tight head, said he had a bit of the dog mongrel about him, and you can see it in him, can't you?
Well, Fitzy didn't know all about that, but I do like the way he carries the ball. He actually accelerates into every carry. And a good find for Harlequins.
Another product of the Battersea Ironsides Club. What a wonderful name that is. Also produced Daryl Marfo in the Harlequins first team squad at the moment.
Coming through the academy as well. And we know the worth, what a tight head prop is worth to a club on the national game. They're worth a formidable amount of money, because if you don't have a good one of those, especially with the new scrummaging laws, you ain't going to get much going off that scrum.
And he's made the most of the exit of James Johnston to Saracens, hasn't he? You thought Paul Doran-Jones might be the one to step up, but the young man has really made the most of his opportunity.
Under 20s last year, so he's a puppy.
Yep. He's a very big puppy.
He's a very big puppy.
We're talking Great Dane Doberman here, not Poodle, that's for sure.
But props get better with age, don't they? So when he's about 30-odd...
So your old mate Jason Leonard keeps telling us, yes.
I'll see him tonight in a place...
difficult take from Graham Kitchener, almost pulling that one in, but it's given the Barbarians a chance to move with Rene Ranger. Rokadanguni trying to step in quickly to intercept it, but my goodness me, that was a moment of danger for England.
Jonathan Joseph doing very well in the end, JJ, to get him into touch. I was going to say, nearly gets it back, but again, the danger, Rene Ranger, just watch for him. You can't, if you commit yourself like that, you have to take your man. Simple as. Rokadanguni, you cannot afford, you either stay off and just let the pass to go, but if you commit yourself like that, you've got to nail him.
Throw from Rob Buchanan. That's a more grooved line-out from the England setup. Simon Hardy, one of the England coaches, is the hooker doyen amongst England in all age groups and the senior elite. He's been working with them this week. Fernandez just skewing that one off the outside of his left boot.
Good movement from England there, putting the big runners one out and then just slipping the ball back behind. Slade calling the shots. Yeah, there's a great ball off the back, it's beautiful. You see Joe Simpson, the scrum half, sweeping. Slade then just having the means to just put the ball on the boot, and that's what you got to do. And really, Hernandez got absolutely nowhere to go. So it's a very good attacking throw. I like this lad. Again, he stands very, very flat. He's got a good educated boot on him.
So for the first time, England into the Barbarians 22 and looking to force their way a little closer before they release that back line. The call goes to Simpson. Slade, Joseph trying to fade outside his man. Ranger doesn't get his tackle in. In the end, Stanley had to cover for his Kiwi mate.
Rangers, Rokadanguni jumping out the line, and that's, you know, it's a defensive coach nightmare. You can understand a bit from the Barbars, but not necessarily for England.
Ranger, a little bit of a maverick type player, it has to be said, and that's I think what Fabien Gaultier has had fun in Montpellier this season, integrating the All Black into their lineup.
And there you go. Slade is just... He should tackle. He should make a tackle on Jonathan Joseph there. But again, Buchanan gets another chance. Will Joseph get another chance?
Well, last England match was the 2 tests against Argentina on the summer tour last year, and the 3 tests against South Africa the summer tour the year before. And although he's had a mixed season with injuries now, he's desperate to perform well on this biggest of stages and show the England management what he offers, and a very different type of option, of course, to Manitou Alangi and Luther Burrell as well. Buchanan getting a little help from his mates. That was quick response. Simpson trying to sidle his way through. They go, and they do get think it's Dave Ewers. Yes, indeed it is. The Exeter Chiefs, number 8, gets the first try on the board for this young England side.
Just a matter of time. Both backs are eyeballing each other out, flexing their muscles. Both have gone for a catch in a drive, and this time England's paid off. A couple of movements out. Joe Simpson, the initial break. The crowd can start celebrating. There you go. You just put the big guys in to try and get momentum on the ball. That's what you want, momentum and then quick ball. See Joe Simpson, come round the corner, come round the corner. The defensive line again, slightly dog-legged. Under come Ewers. There's no one at home. Only Leguizamon. There's no one backing up there. That's
and
a soft try,
it is the problem with the Barbarians that England have to expose is the lack of communication and instinct in that defensive line.
Absolutely, but all you need to do is one quick ball and then just pick up and drive, because they're all to the side.
Twickenham already walking in the sunshine, enjoying fun in the sun. Now, Henry Slade has to show that he can do it off the tee as well as with ball in hand this afternoon. And that's a good start from the Chiefs fly half.
Good start from Baxter's boys, isn't it? Ewers. We've got another one, Hill in the centre. It's a big unit, and you do need big 8s to cause damage for defences. This time he causes damage from about 3 metres out. Big reach on him, big forward. Big prospect.
Born in Zimbabwe, of course, and like David Pocock, trying to make something of his chances on the international rugby stage. Dave Ewers got on the Saxons at the beginning of the year. Another product of that great Ivy Bridge academy. Now here comes Joe Rokothoko. Warning bells ringing, but Charlie Sharples has nicked that one. You cannot kick loosely to any of these guys, can you?
No. But he just undercooked that little chip. How many times have we seen that? Just though Charlie Sharples smiling there, probably with a little bit of relief, but he's a speedster on his own. Rothakoko has lost a little bit, obviously, of pace, but his guile, his ability to see a gap. Defence comes up. What's the other option? Well, a grub or a chip. This time he goes for the chip over, and it isn't quite there.
He's been playing a lot for Bayonne this season in the 13 shirt. So interesting, that's been a different option for them, but
no, like Rougerie. There's, you know, when you get slightly getting older, I don't know how he feels. You just move in.
Did you ever move into the 13 shirt?
No, I'd be moving down numbers.
Loose head prop.
I did play centre once. My gosh,
never again.
The distance between. Anyway.
Well, Rokothoko slightly younger, doesn't turn 31 till next Friday. But a very popular call for this Barbars lineup, his 6th Barbars appearance. Well, Juan Martin Hernandez is making his first. I think they're going to go back, they're playing on, but I think the referee's taken them back to the other side.
Advantage offside, retreating players.
Offside call from Monsieur Reynal.
And there it is, Godzilla as he's nicknamed. He is a strong boy. We talked about 8 Ewers being strong. That man is a pack on his own. It's a good tackle. Rokothoko straightening Hernandez right in the mid-rib, pushing him back. But they were playing an advantage, and that's what you need. Drive them onto the floor, not dangerously, just drive them back.
Rokodunguni, of course, still a serving soldier. The first, or would be the first serving soldier to represent England in 22 years, since a certain Tim Rodber, who you were associated with, Darry. So a great opportunity for the Fijian flyer if he can show what he can do this afternoon, and who knows, maybe in New Zealand through the summer.
Yeah, Tim, a great servant to Saints and obviously England, and ramrod straight every time that national anthem was played, as if on the parade ground.
Gogotse, the Georgian captain, driving this Barbarians team forward.
Look how much yardage he's made on his own.
Within striking distance now, and that was a foot in touch from Chandra Kriya. Well, they may want to check it, but my instinct was he was skating out of that white line before the ball dotted down, and the touch judge on the far side agreeing with that.
We don't need Graham Hughes for this one. We've got Gareth Simmons in the truck anyway, but he's well out. Sliding out.
Good coverage from Charlie Sharples there. often not renowned for his defensive duties, more an attacking threat, of course. He'll be keen and eager to show what he can do back at Twickenham. Last time he was here was November 2012, when England, of course, lost to Australia on that day.
Close,
11 tries this season for the Cherry and Whites, in what everybody knows has not been the easiest of seasons for those at Kingsholm.
Jamie Gibson doing what all sort of sixes or some sevens do. They move up and down the line out. It's a great option, obviously not as heavy to lift, and a little bit more agile than normal second rows.
Rokathoko feeds Hernandez, and suddenly the ball is in the hands of Jose Gear, and there's opportunity here down the left flank. Ranger feeds on to Stanley, looks for the return pass, it comes eventually. The Maori sidestep from Ranger sets the ball up for Stanley, and the 1-2 works for the Kiwi midfield.
Not have they only got good feet, they've got brute strength as well. There's a good balance out there, Stanley. Again, you got to remember there's Rouge in that. Clement sends a Fofano for me, isn't it? Well, one of the world's outstanding players. And this really is about vision. Jose is just making the extra man, riding the tackle, bringing Rokathoko in. And then I thought he passed this ball a little bit too quick. He didn't. But again, it's the ability of the two of them to play combined rugby, bang into the tackle, don't die with the ball, and you're over the try line.
It wasn't quite Jonah Lomu on Tony Underwood, but it wasn't far short of that impressive thrust from Rene Ranger.
No, it's a good finish there. Again, it's all about support. It's all about making something happen in front for somebody to take that advantage. So I think it's Slade's bloodied nose, but I'm sure he'll be back on.
Looks like Henry Slade is just going to have some repair work as Brock James just bends that one in. What would Charlie Hodgson have thought of that for yesterday, eh? The width of a post.
Don't keep going there. Don't keep going there. Look to the present, not to the past. And look to the past here. Very good. And when all else fails, Slade again. I like him because he understands the game, but he will stand in heavy traffic. He will take the punishment. He won't hide.
So Ollie Devoto just stepping in for his first taste of the action this afternoon as that blood replacement. There, the LV young player of the year, Devoto, the Bath. Well, he was a fly half. He played at fullback, and now he's been playing in midfield. So Perm 1 from 3.
Again, I'm no expert in the midfield. I like him. I like him in the centre role. I just think he's got that glide about him. Gus got at a glide, and this lad's he's got a lot to learn from to get to Jerry's level. But he's just got a good, and he's got pace as well. That's the difference between good players and great players. Is reading the game. But when you've got an opportunity to bump, that's what Mr. Guscott had. And if he has half of that, he'll be a good player. And he wasn't bad at cards as well, Jerry, I must admit.
I sense a bitterest of tongues there and a lighter wallet.
Yes, many a tour spent with Dina Richards and Jerry. Well, those two on their own, basically, most of the time. They used to love playing cards.
Well, Devoto not chancing his arm yet. Another member of this side that won the Under-20 Junior World Championship.
Well, he's got his Bath team, Rokathoko, on his right inside, so it could be a ball back inside.
And Hill very close on his left shoulder, so there's a set move coming up here from England. Hill it is who steps in as Devoto comes round on the loop, but read very well by Ranger, who shut the door on in his face very quickly. Penalty goes to England, though.
No more. You must release before contesting.
Well, this will be an interesting call from an England perspective as to what Graham Kitchener wants.
Well, Slade's gone off. Daly, as we know, has got a massive boot, but this is well within his range, so he will go for post. The crowd will boo. But this England 15 haven't come to entertain. They will entertain, hopefully, with a victory and the manner of that victory. But when the 3 points is on offer, take it.
I hesitate to use the word pragmatic, but England have to be sensible in how they're going. Let's hear from another sensible man, Pat Sanderson, who's down pitch side.
Well, it's been a really interesting start, hasn't it? I think England will be reasonably pleased with the structure they've managed to put into it, but what I think we saw in that last try is what England don't have at any level. That free-flowing ability to run in those wide channels and offload like that only seems to come from the All Blacks, doesn't it? A fantastic try, and if they let them have that sort of space and they let them run at them, then England are going to have a very, very long day today. I think they need to make sure that they dominate the breakdown, they get more line speed and close off those outside channels. If they do that, I think we've seen enough from this young England side to know that they could win this game.
Pat, are you looking like you talking about like Kieran Reid when he just goes out that wide outside and adds like an extra dimension out there?
Daly taking the 3 points on offer off the tee. Well, you mentioned Kieran Reid. It's interesting, Michael Patterson in that England second row. He was alongside Kieran Reid when the Baby Blacks won the Junior World Championships a long time ago. And now, of course, is trying to ply his trade through the England, which is his right. His grandfather was born in England, having, you know, gone to Cardiff and been just 2 months short of residency there in Wales. Now is making an impact for Sale. And do you think he can make an impact for England?
He's made a tremendous impact for Sale. I know the Cardiff Blues didn't want to lose him. I'll put it back to you.
Daly steps inside, the support is there, doesn't release it. Charlie Sharples was begging for the ball out wide. It's still there though. Well, this is where the instinct that Pat was talking about isn't innate within the England forwards at the moment, but they have kept hold of the ball and now are trying to conjure up a reset now, a position to attack from. Sam Hill, a bulky operator in that inside centre role. Very much an unsung hero, but starting to get plays now through Rob Baxter at Exeter Chiefs. Rokananguni, another one who's really been making an impact in the Premiership this season. Simpson, quick to set it up. Devoto prods it through. It's going to be a try for England. Has he got it? Charlie Sharples, I think, is the man, and yes, the try is given. Well, he coined the nickname Champagne Charlie when he scored a hat-trick in the Daily Mail Schools competition here back in 2006. He's shown what he can do again, poaching another try.
He is a finisher. Elliot Daly just showed that taste that England have been lacking. I know what Pat's talking about. It is the Kieran Reid effect. They're having big, rangy back row forwards. That Sam Elliott doesn't need anyone. It's just got great hands, ball in both hands. Just superb. And when it just, that's just Devoto, talk about that time, that grace, that sort of drift off the ball. He's just got it, and good players have that ability just to do it. And again, super duper. All the skill set coming out there, taking the ball flat, passing the ball, recycling very quick. Joe Simpson is on hand straight away. That's a lovely nudge, and it is a super finish.
The Bath combo working for the Gloucester man to set that try up. Impressive work from Devoto.
More Prosecco than champagne, I would say, there. Not being a bubbly drinker, but like yourself, obviously, Simon.
I'll take that as a northern influence, I think. Unfortunately, Daly unable to add the points from out wide.
Again, it's all about the momentum. As a 9, and as people taking the key from a 9 or a 10, it's the ability to get that ball quickly. And the Barbars aren't able to slow the ball up, and that's an area England will be looking forward to doing in New Zealand, obviously, to stop this flow of ball to the Blacks, and equally they'll do it. They've got the best in the world, Richie McCaw, who's still got only 1 yellow card, I believe, in the whole...
And do you know who gave it to him?
Go on.
Glenn Jackson. How sweet would that have been?
Brilliant.
Yeah, the former Saracens fly half, and now, of course, international referee giving McCaw his first yellow. Or Luke Wallace going up there with Sharples. I don't think either of them managed to keep the ball England's side.
Advantage, black and white, last one.
Yes, Richie McCaw will be rankling that a Kiwi gave him his first yellow in 3 years. It's got to hurt, hasn't it? Even for perhaps the biggest name in world rugby.
No, he's the most influence, I think, in world rugby personally. And talking of sevens, the one that I do rate, Luke Wallace had a bit of a quiet game so far.
Well, stats don't tell you everything, but the fact that England have got double the carries of their Barbarians opposition,
And I can't quite work out, I will reiterate it, I'm sure Stuart Lancaster could tell me, and we've had many chats about having an out-and-out 7. I think he's been superb for Harlequins. And Matt Kvesic has not had a great season with Gloucester, but I think they have this thing that they have sort of stuff in the bank. Well,
Brock James with the cross kick pass to Gear, and Gear invites Hernandez to go over. Well, you cannot take your eyes off this Barbarians team for a moment. Made by an Australian, set up by a Kiwi, and finished by an Argentinian.
Very good score. Again, that's just experience. That's not taking your eye off the ball, and that is the perfect cross-field kick. It's not too high. It doesn't stop the winger running onto it. It's just a motion, so he can actually keep his stride length going. Look at this. Keep the stride length in. It's in the bin, and then a little basketball over the top. Daly doesn't have a... Well, again, in a perfect world, he makes that tackle. Jose Gear is a big lad as well, so he's got the size, he's got the ability, he's got the skill, and there's the support.
And an unusual experience in many ways for Hernandez. He doesn't score many tries, hasn't scored all season for Racing Metro. And indeed, when you look at his club record, only 3 tries in 57 appearances. As influential as he's been for the Pumas, you would expect your fullback to be crossing the whitewash a little more often than that, wouldn't you?
Not much magic there, and I'm sure he's not on the sort of
El Demi-Majo
normal staple wage of the mere mortal player. Paid a fortune.
Brock James swings one round to bisect the posts, and Henry Slade returning to the fray. But as he comes back, there is now only a solitary point between the two teams as we get towards the half-hour mark.
Absolutely, 2 tries each, and this is superb. Absolutely superb. On the button, on the sixpence, anything you want to say, and then the support line's coming. But lad who's just gone on to vote, who can be happy with his 10 minutes or 5 minutes work or whatever. And that was taken in there. Slade back on. I think we're going to have plenty of tries. The crowd are going to be happy.
Just a quick facial massage for Michael Patterson.
We're talking to Joe Lydon, obviously, Joseph, before the game there, and he was talking, I know for a fact that there's a couple going. There's 12, I think, due to go to meet the 31 that are out in New Zealand, obviously, for that crucial three-test series and a midweek game against Crusaders.
Brock James finding a lengthy touch. We heard him speaking French in that warm-up, and now a French citizen, having been 8 seasons at Clermont, and what a performer he has been for Les Jaunards. 377 points in his first season. He repeated the dose, 300+ points in the next 2, and now has 1,860 points for Clermont. You see what a vital commodity he is, and who knows, it might be a vital commodity for Philippe Saint-André. How Saint-André would love to have Gogotse and Jose Gear. The Barbarians have got them, and they've got great position here to strike again. Rokothoko coming through as crash ball Charlie, but the ball goes loose, and Kitchener relieved in many ways to be able to rescue that.
Somebody hurt you.
There's
time off.
Leguizamo almost straight over to the referee.
Jamie
Sorry,
Gibson.
Yeah.
Well, just cause for concern for those guys there. Joe Lydon on the right-hand side, John Callard just behind him, and Rokothoko hurt himself in that challenge, I think.
Captain.
Well, I'm sure Rokothoko will have more than an eye on what's going to be happening next weekend, because, of course, it is going to be England's first test out in New Zealand, and you can watch it all here live with us on Sky Sports 1. It begins at 8 o'clock. The beginning, of course, of this international window. Then we head to Brisbane. Australia against France. I mentioned Philippe Saint-André with a different mix in that French squad. And Ewan McKenzie eager to show what they can do against Northern Hemisphere opposition. And then in the evening, it's Tucumán for Argentina against Ireland. Argentina not with all their premier players playing in these summer tours, but for Joe Schmidt, a great opportunity to see what they're going to do, particularly with that Ireland backline post Brian O'Driscoll.
And I've played in Tucuman. It is a volatile, fizzing arena to play in. I'll tell you a little story. We went out just in the early 90s. We were the first sort of English side to go out after the Falklands War. And Tucuman was their divisional champions. And we kicked off at 9:30 at night. 9:30 at night. You play in this football stadium that has about a 20-foot mesh around it. And as I came out, Wade Durley was behind me, and as I walked out, they were just flaming the Union Jack over the West Stand. And he said, "Hey, up, monkey, we're in for a bit of a fight tonight." And goodness gracious me, I didn't play another game.
Yeah, they eat their steaks rare out there, that's for sure. So Juan Martín Hernández just trying to keep warm. There is James Gaskell. And thankfully, looks like Gibson might be all right. He's made such an impact for Leicester Tigers this season. His first season, of course, since joining from London Irish. Made the most starts for them, 24 times. He started in that Tigers 6 shirt. Of course, Tom Croft not there, Steve Maffey not there for large portions of the season. And really stuck to his job. But my goodness me, that was a quite horrendous clash there.
Well, it happens. You've got to stop your man. You're not drifting, and that's what you do need from your back row forwards. You've got to stand in the way, and sometimes you do come off second best. But he's up. He's just sitting on the cart. He will be tested with the concussion. It's an incredibly serious scenario now with concussion, so all precautions will be met. And well done. I don't think he knows much about it, but he stopped to try, if that's any consolation.
Yes, it was more than a roadblock on Joe Rokothoko's route to the try line, and getting the appreciation of the big audience here. Just going to make sure that everything is okay, and who knows, we may well be seeing more of Jamie Gibson in the course of this match. Back to action. Pressure on the England 8 now with Gaskell packing down at blindside.
Well, he can play across the back row. He can play in the second row, can't he? Off to Wasps, obviously. Just they're going to pastures new to further his potential, his career, whatever, because he did burst onto the scene.
Youngest captain, I think, for Sale, wasn't he, back in the day? Didn't quite fit.
No, put him back a little bit. I didn't quite, as Mike Brewer, wasn't he, giving that honour, and I just didn't quite fit at 20-odd, 21. You haven't played much rugby yourself then to command the respect of other people, but he is a great talent.
You must be very happy, because we look here, we've got 5 Sale Sharks representatives in this squad. Of course, there's 2 already out in New Zealand. Certain Mr. Cipriani and Thomas. It really is indicative of what Steve Diamond has managed with the Sharks this season.
I was talking to Ian Ritchie before, and it's what Lancaster's brought in. He will reward people that play well week in, week out, and that's why Sale Sharks credit to Diamond and all the coaching staff up there from a horrendous season last year. They came back and they got the structures working, and players started playing. You know, and it's that reward that you want to see week in, week out, playing for your team, that the national selectors, coaches, are looking at you. And I think that reflects his squad, and I think it reflects a lot of the results that he's had, and just the atmosphere around this place. I remember coming to this place and feeling, oh God, you know, it's not a great place to come because we're not playing any rugby. At least these boys will play.
Well, the strapline is England connected, and you look around these stands now, and there is a belief within the England rugby public, within the England rugby squad, management, etc., that things can be achieved.
And it was lovely for everyone to watch. Obviously, it's a bigger crowd now. The Cornwall against Lancashire, you know, a lot of these guys, they're all amateurs, and most people are reflecting that, you know, that's the style and that's the speed they go at. And all of us now, you see the professionals, it is a game for every shape and size. It's no problem.
Good interlinking play from England. Oh, basketball skills from Graham Kitchener. Well, not quite Harlem Globetrotters perhaps, but ambition being shown from the England forwards.
And it's right up the middle. Obviously, again, you're trying to get up the middle, stick it at the guts of the Barbars to break through, and then let the pacemen have a go. But again, that's what you want, a combination of the new modern athletic second row. There you come back on the angle. That's Hill back in, and this time
both of those second rows, of course, can play in the back row as well, and you see that extra fluidity to their play.
Again, most modern day guys can actually do that. Just reflecting back on that Toulon, the Heineken Cup, when Bakis Boza comes back for injury, Ali Williams comes back. It's just the riches, and those two can play as well. So it is an incredibly important area. As we saw Steve Borthwick play his last game, he's been a great servant, obviously, for Saracens in England, and, you know, moves on to Japan. It's just a fundamentally incredibly important part of the game. How scrummaging is, line out reading, line out sort of sussing of the opposition.
Well, there's another man who's heading for Japan. That's Jose Gear, playing for the Honda Hornets next season. Brock James finds his captain. Leguizamo sets it early. England trying to make sure they close up any of those gaps out wide. Sinclair nicks the ball. Kitchener's on hand to release it. Tomalolo trying to just interfere with that flow, but England now using Wallace as the playmaker almost. Daly gets outside a tissue paper tackle from Gear, almost works it. Simpson, his Wasps teammate, has picked up the loose ball. Can England finish things off inside the opposition 5-metre channel? Jonathan Joseph
needs to go left as a try.
Well, there are about 4 or 5 different options out left.
And he's not going to go for a card because it's England and the Barbars, but they should do, because that's a professional foul. How many, 7-man overlap?
Watch this for handling from Elliot Daly. It is quite sublime. They weren't sure at one point whether Daly was going to be playing a 13 shirt on the wing or at fullback, but you see what he did here.
Does it matter where he plays? He understands the game. That's great. He's outside Jose Gear.
I don't understand why you're speaking.
That's fine, that's fine, that's great. I thought he was in touch. The touch is obviously didn't give it, he didn't think it, and he was absolutely correct. Joe Simpson going for a 10-metre score after that 80-metre score he did against Stade Francais at Wickham a couple of 3 weeks ago. That boy's got some wheels. This boy's got tremendous pace. He's also can hit a ball from almost his own 10-metre line.
Well, with that handling, you can see why he represented England under 15s at cricket. He's got that dexterity that is just startling to see in moments like that. Now, Henry Slade, with that big bruise underneath his left eye, has to settle himself down now. 4 minutes to go till the break, and a very important 3 points in the psychology of this England team.
It tells you a lot about the guy as well. The crowd don't like it because they've come here to be entertained. He's taken a severe knock. He's had to compose himself. It's a kick, yes, you should get, because that's your job, and he's put it straight through the middle.
Well, Slade it was who knocked in 13 points in that final against Wales. Pat was saying earlier on in the rugby club, in fact, that he thinks Slade is the real deal. We've seen Ford and Farrell not enjoy the end of their seasons. The conversations about Freddie Burns and Cipriani will continue to next week. Do you think Henry Slade is in that queue?
I think he's definitely in the queue. It all depends how many games we've got now to the World Cup. Is it 15?
15.
15, there you go. So people have been, will be given a chance. And if they constantly knock at the door, Stuart Lancaster will give them a chance.
And of course, he needs to think to 2019 in Japan as well. It's a bigger picture, and that's what we were saying earlier. It doesn't matter your age. If you've got the talent, England can use you. But right now, the talent is there. It's Rennie Ranger. Stumbling into that tackle with Henry Slade.
Slade again.
Slade isn't quite sure what day it is now. It wasn't dangerous play because I think Ranger actually lost his footing, and Slade did very well to block him.
He caught his studs as a bit of bargee. Not the Indian variety. Joe Simpson's always a good screen. His ankle's gone now. Poor fella.
Have a look at this. I think Rennie Ranger was about to step him, having been released down that right flank.
And sometimes with a bouncing ball, it's Rokothoko. There's great hands, great, and Daly gets the man. Rennie Ranger, yes, he's, oh gosh. He has caught his studs there. And Slade again. I'll tell you I like this lad. He may not know what day it is, but he's still out there and he's still putting the body on the line.
Some people think of this match as a friendly.
I've played in friendlies and they're not even friendly.
Oh, he's far too good looking as a number 10 anyway. Needs a few scars, few medals.
These games they dress up as the golden oldies. Yeah, it's really friendly.
Well, thankfully, Slade is able to take this penalty.
Well, he doesn't have to prove to me his character, his temperament.
Well, the Exeter chief has already shown what he's about in this first half. Dual registered with Plymouth Albion last season, and you can see the benefit of that through these youngsters, particularly down at the Chiefs. You think of the likes of Luke Cowan-Dickey and plenty others down there who progressed so quickly thanks to the exposure they've got in the Championship. So 90 seconds to go in this first half.
About fair, I would say. England 18-14, 2 tries apiece. You know, both sides have just struggled to get the ball, a bit of flow going, a bit of momentum. It is hot out there, I'm not making excuses. I think the second half hopefully will lighten up a bit more, but it's just that's a microcosm there. Just that fumble pass, the skills have let a few people down, and that just affects the flow of the game, and that's the word I'll leave it with. Flow. It's not been there.
Well, Jimmy Cowan, as I mentioned, is heading off to pastures new. I have to make mention of his socks, because normally, as you're probably aware, Barbarians wear their club socks, and Jimmy Cowan forgot his. He was desperate to wear Gloucester socks. He's been looking all over the shop this last couple of days, but couldn't get any, so he's had to wear standard socks for this, but wanted it made known that it wasn't as a snub to Gloucester in any way, shape or form, because I know he's loved his time down at King's Own. It'll be interesting to see Dan Robson come off later on.
Intrigued me now. Standard what? Standard Barbar socks? Or has he borrowed someone from Cornwall?
Well, there's a couple of players that have in fact borrowed Cornish socks. It wasn't him. But yes, as a gear chips over the top. Good anticipation from Charlie Sharples, who tiptoes his way around now. Charlie Sharples is thinking 100 metres. It's a long way to go for the Gloucester flyer. Good work from Charlie Sharples, and they get the penalty. Now, can England finish with something of a flourish in this first half? Gaskell spins inside one, tries to wrestle through Gorgotza. Oh, Krier just spoiling that, and suddenly the Barbarians are thinking of try time.
Surely Krier came in on the side then.
It did look suspicious, it has to be said, as Gorgotze sets up position for this last attack from the Barbarians. Tiupalo disappearing around the M25 and ending up in the same spot for the Barbarians, and the counter-rucking from England is good, and the turnover, I think, is there. Well, Simpson has seen enough. Good call from the Wasps scrum half, and a 4-point advantage for this young England side. Graham Kitchener surely will be happy with his lot. We've seen tries go in from Dave Ewers and Charlie Sharples. Points from the boot of Slade and Daly. It really has been an interesting first 40. Let's get thoughts from the Barbarians camp with Rupert Cox. Rupert, who have you got with you?
I got Donnacha O'Callaghan with me. Donnacha, 4 points down at half-time. How'd you feel about the first half?
Yeah, we're a little bit unstructured in what we're at. Still trying to get to know systems and plays, and you always have the language barrier thing, but we've got some real game breakers. And
you certainly do. You've got so much strike power out wide there. Is it just a case of getting those guys the ball?
That's absolutely it. You look at our try off the scrum, just nice crick by Brock, and we're in the corner, so it's up to the forwards to get some good possession for the boys.
Thanks, Donnacha.
Yeah, come on, thanks.
Well, I think it's fair to say that this is a completely different affair to that we've had in seasons past between England and the Barbarians. Intensity right out there, physicality likewise. We've had 4 cracking scores, the last of them to Charlie Sharples, and it's England in front by 4.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about what it means to be a Barbarian, and that man there, Donnacha O'Callaghan, was telling me at training on Friday that as a youngster with 3 elder brothers in the Cork front garden, one team used to be Ireland and the other team used to be the Barbarians, because nobody wanted to be England or Wales, of course. Now his elder brother Alton has represented the Barbarians against combined services somewhat 12 years ago. He's the all-time capped Munster forward 241 times. He's won Grand Slams, Heineken Cups, British and Irish Lion, 94 caps for Ireland. But this is the most special day in Donnacha O'Callaghan's CV, and that really says it all about what it means to be wearing the black and white of the Barbarian shirt, even in this professional era. They've got to now show in this second half what they've got, and it'll be fascinating to see how England react and how England work against such class opposition, albeit in a situation where they haven't really got the structures that England have been able to establish.
Indeed, Luke Wallace, Ewers will be wanting plenty of ball and quick ball. Interesting, Jonathan Callard was talking about it, is the movement, it's momentum, and that's what you want from 9. If you've got Joe Simpson there at 9, he keeps the opposition back row and even inside backs, the word I will use, I know it's overused, is honest, because he has incredible pace around the breakdown, but that then allows space for Slade and Jonathan Joseph and Hill outside. So it's all about the presentation of the ball. He's absolutely correct on momentum and movement. And there's a hand in there, so touch judge will see that. That was stupid.
6 white hands.
With a bit obvious, I think, is the understatement.
Well, you're not going to get away with it at any level. It's Gaskell there. You can see the ball's coming. It is hooked. Well, Jimmy Cowan doesn't have to really appeal too much or too loudly. And a great opportunity there. And that was, again, that drives coaches mad, because you could get your hand in there. Trouble is, they're probably under a lot of pressure in the scrum, so he's got to put every ounce into his props push, in a sense. But you know, you lost 40 metres and it's not even your throw-in now.
Well, composure was the word that John Callard used there. There's Peter Walton at the back, the forwards coach, normally works for the England under-18s along with John Fletcher. Simon Hardy in the front row. Big hit from Kitchener, wrapping up Cowan. Not quite blindsiding him, but I don't think Cowan was aware of the presence of the big Leicester Tigers second row. Oh, and Cowan unable to get away with the ball.
First knock on the tackle.
He's not had his best afternoon. Again, his presentation has not been good from his forwards. Paolo taking that in. I like to watch Paolo. He has not had any breaks today. He's an electric hooker, offloading hooker, and then he's just, you see, he's one hand on the boot, one hand on the ball.
Fingernails not long enough for Jimmy Cowan. No doubt he will have more than a keen eye on what's going on in New Zealand, because close links with 2 of the 3 Smiths in that All Black squad, Aaron and Ben, both former ex-Highlanders teammates.
I do sympathise with him, but again, he needs his forwards to clear out. That's interesting now. You've got Brock James right in the midfield. The blind side is almost open. Would that be a good Zadzi? 8-9 down the blind side, or you got Brock James options with Joe Rokathoko right behind him, Stanley, Rennie Ranger. It's all stacked out on the left, isn't it? Will they do the bluff, the double bluff? The
bluff and double bluff. It's double teaming in both of those first 2 receiving positions.
And it's up to Kubriashvili now to get the edge on this tight-hand side. Gets the edge on the tight-hand side. That keeps everybody down, and off they go.
Gogotse does go from the right place and immediately gets his team onto the front foot. That's what he brings to whichever team he plays for. But that's good wrestling work from James Gaskell. That's one of the more difficult challenges in world rugby right now, is wrapping up Mamuka Gogotse. Cowan out to Brock James, and Stanley almost breaking through. James moves it again. Hernandez stabs it through. Who's going to get there first? It's Elliot Daly. He's taking it back across, though. I think it's going to be a 5-metre scrum. Good emergency cover work from the England fullback.
Only thing he could do there, and the boys talked about it in the studio, it's just a power game in the midfield. Jonathan Joseph, Sam Hill, obviously still developing. They're not as strong as Ranger and Stanley. And then they just batter in. It keeps everyone sort of inward. They can't fly out wide. And Hernandez, we've seen a couple of nice touches from him today. It was the correct option. position in the right place, and that's a 5-metre scrum, and I think Kubirashvili is getting a slight sort of
pushing on the last scrum. Okay.
power game plus over Ross Harrison as Buchanan goes down injured. I'm thinking that the tight head's got Harrison's number here.
Well, there's Ross Harrison. England, of course, very aware of loose heads and tight heads at the moment. Makavunapola unable to go out to New Zealand. Alex Corbisiero is going to be rehabbing through the course of the summer. I was talking to him yesterday on this pitch, and he was looking forward to a summer off, but of course the progression up to 2015, he needs it after the operations he's had.
I think he's one of these lads that does need rest, because obviously his intrinsic position on the field had a pretty intense last season with the Lions, so I think he'll deserve his rest. But the one thing the England front row want to do is rest here. They have to bite down hard on the strap, and this just needs to be stationary and get parity in this scrum.
Set.
Good scrum from
That's
England.
Good from England.
Forces Gogotse to break off, and I think the Georgian has got his hand down. Well, surely the referee's going to have to look at that. I thought the Georgian number 8 got the try there, but Mathieu Reynal has allowed play to continue, and I think he's had a call from the officials. Now let's have a look at this, but my instinct was to say that ball was on the whitewash. Your thoughts?
Godzilla's big paws has come out and got that down, I think. The refs for all jouer and getting on with it.
Neil, I just wait, the time is off for check, so.
We will listen.
Gareth, did you hear me? Is it a try, yes or no?
Is it a try, yes or no? He knows it.
Yeah.
And it was a good play from the Barbarians there. They kept the scrum very, very tight. That keeps the England back row down. Wallace can't get out to get him, and we know about the size and the power of this man. You're allowed one attempt, so he goes down once, and then you're allowed one more attempt, arm length.
That's in. That's on the whitewash.
We'll see full speed here. Yeah, I think you've got to give it. Yeah. You would have to give that.
Just one more angle, Mathieu.
Gareth Simmons is going to have another angle just to check this.
Here we go, so you can just
Mathieu, I have a decision.
It hits.
Yes.
You may award the try.
Just has to be just a little bit, that's good.
And the try is given as the referee's arm goes up, and the Barbars have struck first in their second half and have forced themselves into the lead for the first time in the match.
And again, it comes from this initial scrum. You can see Wallace has to stay down. He has to put his poundage into his prop because he's under tremendous pressure. That allows Gudganzi to do the sort of bluff pick up with his left hand, and then he's outside the open side flanker. Ewers obviously had to stay down as well. That's what you have when you have a powerful scrum. You've got the ability then in an experienced number 8 can make that happen.
And the brawny forearm of Gogotse making sure the ball stayed on the white line long enough for Gareth Simmons, the TMO, this afternoon to confirm the try. And it's now going to be Brock James looking to just add a couple of points. Replaced Stephen Jones when he went out to Clermont all those years ago, and no problems at all for the Clermont fly half.
Barbarians, number 10, Brock James. Next to Scotland, 18, Barbarians, 21.
Right, the bench is beginning to be utilised. There's Tommy Taylor, another sail shot, coming on to replace Rob Buchanan. Buchanan, one of 3 Harlequins hookers representing England over the course of the next week or so. I can't remember that would ever have happened before for one club, is it? John Kingston must be mighty proud of Ward, Gray, and of course Buchanan.
Dave Ward has been superb this season.
Kubeli on as scrum half for the Barbarians. There's the Argentinian wearing 21. Also, we'll see Tuitavaki, slightly slender of frame, so he can get in the number 13 shirt, unlike Rennie Ranger.
Danger here.
Such a try scorer. 9 tries he's got for Toulouse this season, including a hat-trick against Grenoble in the last round of the top 14, before, of course, Toulouse lost to Racing Metro in the barrage. A barren season for Toulouse. It's unusual. Big hit going in there. I think that was Sam Hill, was it? I'm just having a look now. No. Yes, indeed it was. It was the Chiefs inside centre. Oh, Ranger not being allowed through that hole. Oh. Well, if you thought this was a friendly, think again.
I think it was Patterson lays somebody out. And Godsey sees that and he said, right, you're not doing that to one of my teammates. Sam Hill doing well out there. The physical side of that will come later, I'm sure, in his career, but he's been under the cosh a tad. A good take by Korea, and the ball comes out. Kubeli is the new scrum half's on. He's a bit of a live wire himself, and this is Jose Gear, so powerful out the tackle. There's Brock James, and this is Sam Hill getting a bit of his own back. That's
Sit
fine.
down, sir.
Yeah, well, that's fine, because again, it's momentum. The legs didn't go up above the horizontal.
Sam Hill, who's come through the age groups with Henry Slade, so they have such a relationship and instinct that they've been able to develop for, well, England age groups and, of course, Exeter Chiefs now. And who knows where that could take them. Half an hour left of this game. Reynal not happy with the England front row, in particular Kyle Sinclair. It is such a steep learning curve for any youngster, but particularly for the front rowers, isn't it?
It is, and you only learn by getting, stuffed sometimes. You know, when you get your head in the wrong position, you're going to get it paid, and that's why I say at an early age these guys are doing very, very well. But again, that's better for me, because they will learn the art of scrummaging. Hookers will learn the art of hooking, because the new laws have come in to hold on to that thing that makes us different from any to rugby league. It's a game that, to say again, every shape you need the sort of odd-shaped people sometimes to prop up the scrum.
Steady.
Yeah, but you know exactly what I'm talking about, to allow the Gazelles to get the ball. I know that's why it's a great team game.
A game for all shapes and sizes. Good take from Luke Wallace. Slade thought about belting the ball away from the 22, but now he's going to trust this back line. Rokudunguni pulled up just short of the 10-metre line and not releasing the ball. Taken quickly by James. And the Barbars noticeably trying to up the gears a lot quicker now. Julien Brugnot, the replacement front rower. And they go again. Not allowed to take the tap second time quickly, but...
Godsey said basically go for poles. I don't think his captain Brock James won't be allowed to. I'm sure this will go into. There's plenty of water being taken on board. There's been a bit of rest and relaxation, I think, with the Barbarians this week.
Well,
that
Brock
may be
James.
There may be a guy in a yellow coat there who's just said, "Oh, is he speaking to Dean Ryan?
You think
we've come to win this game?"
Is it? Mike Tyndall's not used to being booed at Twickenham, but I don't think that call will be very popular in the 45,000 or so that are here.
And the crowd have said, "We've come here to see you lot score tries."
Brock James, who of course last stood out on this turf in that Saracens Heineken Cup semi. What a match that was. Not a match that he wanted to remember, of course. A fairly simple 9-iron for the home on 10. Well, Dean Ryan must feel like somebody who's been on rations all season and now has got a smorgasbord of rugby players to play with to finish the season off.
I didn't get a chance to see how many he's tapping up for Worcester in the Championship next year. I didn't actually ask him who would he prefer to be playing against, London Welsh or Bristol in the Championship. I probably think he'd probably go for London Welsh, because it looks like it's not an impossible position for Bristol, but it's improbable. The weather forecast is not good, and Bristol have to score 20 points more on the aggregate.
Well, you saw big Joe Takori coming on there with no number on his back. Difficult to miss him, mind. And a number of other changes from both benches now as the mix, the blend changes for these final 27, 28 minutes or so. Slade taking responsibility. And talking responsibility, interesting that England nominated him as their vice-captain for this. We don't often see that, but it was noticeable. Joseph just pulling up a little lane there, I think. That will be cause for concern, not only for England, of course, but also for Bath as Barbarians look to run it. Here we go, Francois Tranduk couldn't decide which colour boots he wanted to wear this morning, so he's wearing one of each. Rokadanguni. And England just having to get the composure back in their game. Sam Hill unable to go through. Kubeli's picked up the loose ball, back to Tranduk. Lapondry up in support as any good open side should be. Kubeli working the ball back, the interception's there. No, he's blown for the earlier advantage, I think, Michel Renard. And Joseph, I don't think, is going to last any further in this game.
They were racking up penalties there, they were playing an advantage. Again, it'll be interesting to see what they do from here. I'm sure they'll pump this into the corner. Fortunately, Sam Hill, tremendous tackle on Brock James just before, just didn't do that one. And the new half-back combination, combining very, very nicely there. That's the interception, that won't be. He's pulled something there, isn't he? Looks like he's pulled it, and he has, because he's given it straight to Sharples.
Well, despite the discomfort on his face and the concern, it looks like JJ is going to remain part of this England 15.
It does, and Sharples actually is the one that's right in front of us.
That might be why. Maybe they're related, because, of course, Ollie Devoto, Rob Miller, well, two backs there. You can see them warming up in the background, and it is going to be a change there for Sharples.
And they have gone into the corner, so they sent a little bit of blood here to the Barbars, because they've got a big old pack out there. And I think the forwards will want to go with this ball first and then see if England can sack him. If they can sack him, I think the backs fancy it, but get the throw first.
So Sharples and Joseph are off, Devoto and Miller are on, but right now they're in defensive mode as the Barbarians look to increase this 6-point lead. Kriya sets it back for the big Georgian again. Gorgotze, such power. There's Kubriashvili. Leguizamo, the captain this afternoon, strides round to set up a more central position. And this is where the handling is so impressive. Takori, out the back door from the Toulouse second row, and suddenly it's invited England to break out from their own 22. Devoto showing good strength. Dan Robson into that playmaker role. Well, England just drawing breath now. 25 minutes left to go. There's Henry Slade.
Plenty of time, exactly, Simon. Plenty of time up, and this is where you want to see how you build characters. They're looking at Slade, they're giving him more responsibility. They mentioned the vice-captaincy. Right, this is right, you know, pump down there, get the communication right with the line-out, walk down. You can see them now, they're all talking together. Kitchen is barking the orders. And let's see if we can create something in the midfield.
So the Barbarians have added 10 points without answer in this second half. Let's get the thoughts from inside the Barbarians camp. Rupert Cox was talking to Mike Tyndall.
Yeah, Mike, 10 unanswered points in this second half. You guys must be pretty happy with how things are going.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I know we get booed for kicking a goal, but at the end of the day, we're going to make the Barbarians team successful. You've got to win the games, and you know that's what we're here to do at the end of the day.
Yeah, there seems to be a different approach this year, but about success, about discipline. It's about winning this game for you.
Yeah, well, if you know what you don't want is you read all the stuff that's said in the media about Barbarians is a waste of time now playing this game, and you're not getting they're not getting a true game. They'd be better off playing someone else. And what we've got to do is we've got to make sure we get not scored against here right now, but we make it a viable game. We make it something to watch, and that means we've got to go out there and try and win the games.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Well, England on the attack now. And Barbarians under threat, and is it Henry Slade, I think, who's squeezed his way over. Well, we're going to go upstairs. Gareth Simmons is going to have to call on this, but I think it's the Exeter Chiefs fly half who's managed to scramble underneath the flailing arms of Barbarians defenders. Let's have a listen.
Okay, I will. Okay.
Here we go.
Gareth, you are here?
Yes, Mattia.
We just want to check if there is a trade made, yes or no. There is possibly a knock-on just before the grounding. Can you check the grounding, and if there is a knock-on, please?
Yeah, grounding and try, yes, I'm checking.
Okay, so you heard what the officials are going to be looking at. It was not so much whether Slade got it down, it was on the grounding as well. There he is, grappling his way towards the line. That looks to be okay.
Well, again, yes, you've got downward pressure there, even if the defending Barbarian's got his hand on it. Slade is there. It all depends whether the ball is over or just kissing the try line. And that's the first time, actually, that movement was set up by a pretty good line-out ball. There's full speed, but again, we need another angle, really, to see where the line is in the ball.
Well, the officials just working out whether that's okay. Gareth Simmons wants another look at this.
It's like,
again, like Gogotse, his forearm has got the ball down.
He's going to give it.
And I think that's try time. There we go. England get their first score of the second half, and it's down to that man, Henry Slade.
Certainly is, and they're enjoying it. Took a bit of time to come, but I think the right decision was given in the end. We've got a very interesting last 22, 23 minutes or so.
A very important 2 points now available from the tee. Slade shown great composure through the course of this game. Waiting for it to just fade back, but just not enough. So a solitary point is the difference between the two, but England getting their attacking movement into great fettle with that break from Devoto.
It's Miller as well, inclusion from t'other wing coming in, and then it's just bashing down the defensive line of the Barbars, and Slade doing very well.
Well, here we go for a very interesting period of play. See what the mindset is going to be of the Barbarians now. We heard Mike Tyndall saying how important winning is.
Yes, it is, but from what Mike Tyndall said, he's going to go for posts and go for poles. It's a difficult one, because I was brought up with the tradition that the Barbars never kicked the ball. I know times have changed. I know it's all about important and winning a game, but there's enough talent out there to win it with ball in hand, isn't there?
Well, you think back to last year, and it took till the last 10 minutes for the Barbarians to get a couple of tries here, and then we had the debacle in Hong Kong. So there is, Dean Ryan said it, they've got to restore the reputation, and there's credibility within that.
You're right on both fronts. I'm right and you're right. So we'll agree to differ.
I like that. We're both right, even though we're different. Well, we've got the most accurate kicker in the top 14 now lining up. Francois Trandou, 86% he managed off the tee in the top 14. A fascinating character for club and for country. Now trying to do it for the Barbarians. Just enough gas on that attempt, and 3 points in the locker for Francois Trandou.
And this is the try again. Hernandez unable to stop. This is a great shot. There you can go, you can place it, you can place it, you can place it, you can place it. You just have to kiss the line, and that's exactly what it done. Nothing more, nothing less.
Kubeli clears his lines, one of the few people that's going to be playing in those international test matches. Kubeli going back to Argentina to set up for Daniel Usade. and the Pumas for those 2 tests against Ireland, followed by the game against Scotland. And of course you can watch it all live here on Sky Sports over the next 3-4 weeks. Robson feeds Slade. Daly trying to dance his way through. The offload is there. Rocketanguni scored a try here for the Army a matter of 4 weeks ago. Was he blocked there?
I don't think he was. Tranduk just turned his back. He's allowed to do that, but England still got the ball.
And now trying to expose the Barbarians' right flank.
No, release.
And getting the penalty. Well, it was a dramatic fall from the Fijian winger.
I actually didn't see. Yeah, I didn't. He's not going back to it anyway. It doesn't really matter. I know what England are going to through Slade's right in front. But Rocketanguni just trying to do the chip over the top. First time I saw that, it's great from Daly. He does this in a Wasp shirt. Take the man, take the tackle, and keep the ball alive. He hasn't done anything as it. He's turned his back. He's allowed to turn his back. He's allowed to run. And Rocketanguni could have run past him, actually. He's decided to put his elbow into his back to try and get a penalty decision.
He can't disappear, in other words, can he? So
no, you can turn and you can run, and that's exactly what he's done, my word.
And you can see indecision in the Tranduk household.
He'll be at the West End with those later, won't he? Click your heels three times, you're over the rainbow.
Well, it's fascinating to see that he's not going to Australia with Philippe Saint-André's France side, but he has been named in this new squad for France next season. So, you know, the best fly half, the most consistent fly half in the top 14. It's a real enigma.
Don't get me started on Saint-André.
Henry Slade is not an enigma in this game in any way, shape or form. And he pulls England back to within that point difference once again. As we pass the hour mark, it is still very much to play for. Tranduk sends it high and down the middle, but suddenly Robson is able to break away, and again Rocketanguni threatens, gets the pass back to Robson. Has he got the gas in the tank? The cover tackle from Gubelli is very efficient and effective, but England are up into the opposition 22. Can they execute? Sam Hill straightens things up. Loading numbers to the left, ball goes loose, and the Barbarians step forward and say thank you very much. Big Joe Takori brought down by Henry Slade. We've seen defence and attack from the Exeter Chiefs playmaker. He really has shown what he's about in this game. Leguizamo showing Puma's footballing skills. The game really breaking up now. Oh, Slade could hear the Tuatavaki coming up, and suddenly England getting very loose.
You can see some of the Barbars are out on their feet. They haven't got a very good defensive line if they go right, but England haven't got many players on the right. They're trying to desperately get this ball back.
And Slade says, let's settle things down, establish our pattern again, and invite the Barbars back.
I think Robson is still down, isn't it, on the far side?
Yeah. Gear goes outside Daly, and Gear turns on the turbo drive to record another try for the Barbarians. Well, that's what this big crowd have come to see, quality rugby. And Hosea Gear, an all-black, last played for them back in November 2012, but still with quality oozing from his very pores.
He certainly does. As big as a back row forward, as lithe as a half-back, but he's got tremendous pace. Again, you're talking about Gears, he was in sixth then, wasn't he? There he goes, and this is just a one-on-one, and you can't blame. You can't blame. I don't know who actually is trying to tackle there, but he wouldn't be the first, and he's not going to be the last person. And we'll find out now. It's Elliot Daly.
Well, the England side knew that this was going to be a real test of what they're about, both in defence and attack, and Elliot Daly has just learnt a very stiff lesson there. in that sort of proximity, it's very difficult to stop a man as powerful and fast as Jose Aguirre.
And that's due to the games broken up a little bit, become fragmented, a bit more space. They don't have to kick penalties. They can score tries.
Well, the pink boot does it for Francois Tranduc. Let's get some reaction once again from the Barbarians bench. Rupert Cox, who have you got with you?
Simon, I'm with Brock James, the Barbarians fly half, and Clermont Auvergne, of course. That was some finish from Jose Aguirre, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's electric when he gets in a bit of space, so he finished off well.
You're used to playing with some big outside guys who can create space like that, aren't you?
Yeah, special backline today. I mentioned before the game there, I think a backline full of All Blacks and then Argentinians, not bad, eh?
A pretty well-known player around these parts who plays in your position, Johnny Wilkinson, signed off with the top 14 victory for Toulon last night. A word on him, what he's achieved down there?
Yeah, mate, he's taken that club right to the top. A double this year's never been done before in France, so it's a perfect way for him to finish.
You got an 8-point lead here. What's it going to take to hold on?
A bit of courage, I think. Boys just going to have to run around as much as they can, and I think we probably need another try just to finish it off.
Thanks, Brock. Appreciate your time. Cheers.
Well, Tommy Taylor being escorted from the field. Looks like a problem with that left knee, so presumably Rob Buchanan is back on for another quarter of an hour.
Ian, can we play or not?
I think we might need a kick-start. Do you fancy a push?
Yeah, there's enough beef on the bench that can do that. Rupert, get some of those lads off the bench. Get the shoulder to the wheel. We want a game to finish. Here we go.
Oh, one of the biggest cheers.
I'm not saying
of the
anything
afternoon.
about women drivers, all right? Before you
just
start.
don't. There's at least a couple of ladies in our truck that will be jumping on you from a great height. If that one.
I can hear Di already, she'll be killing me.
Come on.
It's just the accelerator's on the right. Anyway, moving on.
And no gear stick. Well, what gear are England going to find now? 8 points now, and plenty of time, of course, still on that clock. It's a matter now of setting up the right areas. Beautiful hands from Daly. No room for Miller to manoeuvre.
Gudzi and Ranger sandwich there. My God, he did the right thing, trying to get in off his left foot into the field to keep the play going, but he got absolutely sandwiched. As did Slade once again. They've itemised and targeted him, and I think he's done pretty well to pick himself off the pitch from some of those big hits.
Lucky that he can see out of that left eye. But he's kept going, and he's shown he has got the determination to make things happen. There's Andrew Hoare, man who knows all about the international experience. The farmer from Otago, released by the Highlanders last season. No Super Rugby contract for him this. And we're talking socks. Well, he's wearing the socks of Mania Toto.
Very strong.
There we go. His club in Otago.
And I think Cabello, the scrum out, absolutely hospital pass to him. Hopefully he's okay. He's moving his feet, but the ball was just fired, spiked down at his feet, and obviously the England forwards come through. He's okay. He's okay.
Well, just to remind you what's coming up over the next few weeks. Eden Park, Saturday morning. New Zealand, England, the first test. Stuart Lancaster watching this one, I'm sure, but getting his side set up for that first examination, 8 o'clock. Sky Sports 1, make sure you're there. And then it's Australia, France, the second episode on Saturday, again Sky Sports 1, as Ewan McKenzie tries to get a good start before the Rugby Championship. And then we finish it in the evening, Argentina against Ireland, 7:30. It's going to be a great international rugby day next Saturday.
Can't wait. I've already booked my full Monty. Double sausage, double bacon, double egg. That'll be worth watching, and this is pretty good as well. Joe Simpson on in that first half. And it was Dave Ewers. We saw Gudzi score one, and that was Ewers just holding on that big Exeter ball. And this is Stanley. Good combination in the two centres. Back from Rennie Rangers, Stanley goes over. Beautiful there from Devoto. And Sharples finishing it off, and that was the best for me. purely from the crossfield kick from Brock James. Hernandez very nearly under the post. Good score, and this was the big Georgian. Montpellier, who's now Toulon bound if they didn't need any more muscle, and Slade, who's just been non-stop with ball in hand and scoring tries. So Jose Guia, again, that was a super one. He made the try for Hernandez, and actually that's up there with a great finish.
Well, Kubeli is just having the concussion assessment on the sidelines, which brings Jimmy Cowan back into the fray. Of course, so many new faces on both sides, got to settle themselves into the rhythm of the game, particularly for England as they get this penalty.
You take the points now, definitely.
Got to get back within one score, I guess, and the ref's going to have a chat, I think, with the Barbarians captain Juan Manuel Leguizamo. Let's have a listen.
Je veux pas de faute comme ça, ok? Dans la prochaine, je sortirai le joueur, d'accord?
Well, the Lyon captain being told in French to make sure that they clear away from the contact area.
And again, early getting to the last 10 minutes, Barbars ahead. I would think Slade will put this through, drop it to about a 5-point lead. But you could just sense that it was just an upping of the intensity in their defence there. Their experience comes through, and they just say, right, we're not losing this game.
And there you see the attendance. Nearly 50,500 people, and it's interesting to see a different demographic as you look round the stands. For so many youngsters, this is the first opportunity to experience HQ, to experience Twickenham. Whereas before it may have been the Middlesex Sevens or the Varsity match. Now, this is why this England Barbarians fixture is so important in the rugby calendar. Slade, no problems with that left boot. And once again, the crowd aware now that England pushing themselves towards this finishing line. But there's a huge obstacle in front of them, because this experienced Barbars side with players from 9 different countries know all about how to close matches out. Psychologically, it's a fascinating mix now, isn't it?
And physically as well.
Well,
there's enough weight out there to do that. I mean, it was just interesting. Obviously, we didn't quite see it, but there was just boom. Right, you know, can't give too many penalties away. We need to win this game. We want to win this game.
Tranduk looking for territory, but only finding Elliot Daly. The call from Rob Miller. Well, England trying to stretch out with forwards trying to feed the ball out to Rokodanguni.
They need to be going forward first before you get Rokodanguni going, because again they're just sliding on this defence. Tranduk comes out of the line.
The rainbow pass sets up Patterson. Patterson just cannot clear the ball from the tackle, but England into opposition half. Sam Hill stepping in at first receiver. Luke Wallace on the break. Wallace with that mane of hair flying behind him up to the 22. Now England have to execute under pressure quickly. Gaskell. Oh, cannot get his pass away to Rokodanguni. Well, for a moment there, I thought Gaskell was going to back himself to have the pace to get to the line. Stepped inside one and tried to release the Bath flyer.
And this is the pass. You can see Tranduk. He looks up, he thinks it's only Patterson the second row, but again, he doesn't make the tackle. Patterson does well. And this is great now for a scrum half. You can see the calls coming. Elliot Daly does superbly. There they come. And now, interesting, Sam Hill stands at 10. Wallace, I'm going to say, has had a quiet game because he's had to pack down and use his weight in the scrum. That is just brilliant feat. Absolutely superb feat. Holds on to the ball. And look, gaining 20, 25 metres at a time. Slade is in there, slipping the ball to Gaskell. Again, a defence coming across. But Rokodanguni just being in front of Gaskell there. Just hold your depth, and he didn't have a chance of scoring a try.
Well, there's the referee, Mathieu Reynal. We talk about retirements recently, but this is one of the great returns to rugby. March last year, he was refereeing Montpellier against Racing. Got caught between 2 players and got a double fracture of his leg, broken collarbone amongst other things, and now returning to rugby this year, off to Fiji to assist Wayne Barnes on the Samoa Tonga game, and he's back in the international rugby firmament as well, and it's great to see him back on the park. He was here yesterday, great mate of JP Doyle's. And, you know, we talk about players coming back, but that in particular is a great return to the turf.
It's a hard game, isn't it? It's even harder for referees these days. No, well done to the man.
Mentally and physically.
And physically.
And one might add emotionally as well.
There's a...
Last 10 minutes then, 5 points in it. As René Ranger weighs up the options from this near side. Have the England young bucks got what it takes to once again open up this Barbarian side? Or is the eminent class that's in the opposition 15 on the park going to be enough to keep this game? And what Mike Tyndall has told us, a very important victory for the Barbars.
Stay back, Captain! Captain, back!
Cowan biding his time. Not sure whether he's going to be in top 14 action next season. Daly, huge miss pass out to Devoto. Good cover defence. Tuivasa bringing his man down. Oh, René Ranger stealing that one. Ranger through 1.5 tackles. Gets the support from Cowan. The offload is there. Tuivasa feeds Jandre Krier, and Barbarians are looking to that left side. They've got huge numbers, but Leguizamo cannot get the ball out there. And it was opportunity knocks there. There were so many players waiting for the ball.
Absolutely brilliant play, Wallace, with a fingertip tackle. Devoto, good step, good power. And it's just the presentation as the ball goes. We got whipped to the left with 2 big looping passes. What happens then, there's not enough support really, not enough big forwards just to smash into there. The ball comes loose. And there we go, René Ranger. That's just good step and then a good support. Jimmy Cowan as well. Now watch this tackle. I think it's on Stanley, it is, by Wallace. Oh my word. Doesn't do that, and there's all sorts of mayhem could happen. Krier's off, and then the pass to Leguizamo just gets man and ball. And England can just about breathe again.
Well, Luke Wallace has had to perform maybe a different kind of game than he does more often or not with Harlequins. But look, those stats tell their own story.
Does the glamorous role, but you know, it is this problem. I think England have a balance because you got Wood on a 6, and I will still go and I say Rob Shaw is an outstanding player, outstanding leader, fantastic captain, but he's a 6.5.
So you're going to drop Tom Wood?
No.
So you're going to put 4 in your back row. Okay, yes. That's an interesting tactical call.
In the world I live, I can do that. But I think you know where I'm going with this one. It's a hard decision.
Well, we saw it with Stefan Armitage with the balance of the Toulon back row in the Heineken Cup final. And it is an interesting dynamic for coaches to call.
Good sides can get away with a great sides can't. Great sides can get away with a good sides can't. England are a good side at the moment. But the most influential person on the field at international level, when you get to that level, is the 7. And make your 7s captains as well. Richie McCaw, Pocock, you know, all these guys. The referee sees the 7 on the back, and boom. Even if you're slightly off kilter and slightly offside, you might get the benefit of the doubt. But he's just had a magnificent season, and I think he should be out there in New Zealand now.
Well, Wallace, of course, captained the Quins A side to the Premier A-League title last season, also captained the same side to the LV Cup. So his captaincy credentials are beginning to bloom, irrespective of the way that he plays.
It's great that we're asking these questions, and I still think Stefan Armitage should be getting him off the Sun Lounge, you know, and get him on a plane to New Zealand. But that's just me.
There's not many Sun Lounges in Paris right now, and I don't think he'll be.
They may be back in Toulon, I would say, for a double celebration, because I don't think they'll have celebrated after the Heineken Cup, the last Heineken Cup. But my word, they will have the party of all parties in Toulon tonight. Well, they probably had one last night as well, and they probably have one next night to come, and the night after that, for a week or so, I would say.
You think?
I would say so.
At a conservative guess. Right now, it's not about the next week, it's about the next 5 minutes. And 5 points is the difference.
3 black.
Kubriashvili leaves the pitch. Well, we talk about Cornish socks, and that man there, Nahuel Lobo, had to borrow some Cornish socks.
Time on.
I'm not sure whether you can get them over those calves, mind. But, yes, there were a few without socks when they arrived at Twickenham. Charlie Matthews now into the second row for England.
Right.
Interesting to see whether it's Patterson or Kitchener that moves to the back row. I'm guessing Gaskell will move to number 8 to replace Dave Ewers, who's left. Again, Wallace, a concrete cuddle from the Quins flanker, not allowing the Barbarians to move anywhere.
Well, if he'd been playing with his Quins side, they'd have known exactly what he was after the choke tackle, but unfortunately, different personnel around him didn't get in quickly enough.
Change of options from Juan Martin Hernandez.
Correct option. They just want the ball down there. They want the clock to be ticked down. They've got 5 points. It means, obviously, it's a converted try, 2 penalties. So England have to do the attacking. They have to do the forcing. They're quite happy to sit back. You can see, look at that. They've almost got 3 lines of defence. One on the 22, Big Joe Takiri and Cowan in the middle, and then the big guns at the back. All bases covered. And this one straight down Hernandez's throat, and I think he might pop this up in the air as well.
Yep, skyward goes the ball. They chases on from Leguizamon as Daly comes to claim. Great work from Leguizamon. The Lyon captain really doing so well under that ball and giving his team possession and the chance to attack once again. Stanley feeds inside, and it's that man Gear again. Nobody is going to stop Jose Gear. Oh, almost overdid it right at the death, but what a try, and the Barbarians showing their class. Jose Gear's second try, the 5th try for the Barbars. Well, you can see that set up by Jean-Jacques Creer, the South African second row. Great awareness and handling from him. Oh, just that left elbow, almost.
He's that good. He's got 3 inches to spare.
He's got 4 blades to spare there, and loads of room as Dean Ryan and Donnacha O'Callaghan.
Do you fancy coming to Worcester?
What are you doing next season, Donnacha?
I'll get you a free boiler.
Francois Tranduc with the conversion. Well, doesn't get the target, but 10 points still the difference for the Barbarians, and with just the 2 minutes left on the clock, that is something of security. Well, the ball coming back there for England. Just desperately trying to dig the ball clear. Gorgotze hanging all over the ball. In the end, the referee releases.
Got to tap and go. Got to tap and go. Put some momentum on it. See the old head's just slowing it up. What is this? They're not going to have time to go back and get another penalty. They could pump into the corner. Well, there is an option. This has to be close, though. Slade has to put this one close.
Well, as we
He's done well.
Wait for the last play of this game, Dowie. Who's in the frame for the man of the match?
I'll do it live now. That man, from an England point of view, I think he's been outstanding. He's got boy band looks, but I tell you what, he has a ferocious competitive skill set. He stood up well, but my Sky Sports man of the match is Jose Gear. He's turned the game on its head. 2 amazing tries, 1 fantastic assist with a Brock James kick pass over the top in the first half. He's my Sky Sports man of the match, Jose Gear.
England looking to finish on the burst. The advantage is there from the referee, but they want try time.
17 on the side.
The forwards muscling up. Dan Robson trying to call the shots at the base.
He was looking there before Lobo's big figure just sort of put him off.
Gaskell loses the ball in the contact, forcing the referee to go back as the clock ticks towards that 80-minute mark.
Just enough time, 20 seconds.
Well, Patterson has been the top line-out target in the Premiership. Nobody has taken more throws than him. Now he has got to produce quality possession. It's Gaskell, though, his Sale Sharks teammate, who takes at the tail.
Be nice to get a try, wouldn't it? Right in the depth. But again, the suffocating nature.
Being held up, stunted by the Barbarians, and there we go. Well, you can see what it means to the Barbars to win this game. That man, Dean Ryan, has put them in the right position. They've run in 5 tries. They've come up against a resilient and plucky English side who've showed a lot of what they can do. Who knows whether any of those are going to be on that plane to New Zealand tomorrow.
Well, only Stuart Lancaster will know that. The message will come, obviously, from Joe Lydon to him. But I think it's been an enjoyable afternoon. He's mentioned it. Quite a few tries out there, a bit of kicking. But England, I think, can be proud of their performance. All right, they had a bit of time together, but they're short of 31 guys away in New Zealand. And I think in Slade, I think there's one for the now, not for the future. I think it's just his whole competitive spirit. Wallace had another good game, so no one let themselves down, but they just came up against 700 odd caps of vast experience.
Is there anybody that you think might have done enough to force them on their way down under?
Well, I think if there's a prop problem, Sinclair might do it. Like I said, I've talked about Wallace. I think the fly half berth is covered. Patterson or Kitchener may do it if there's injuries, but I think this run out today said, right, if there's massive injuries or there's problems in training, we can get these guys across.
Well, let's get down onto the pitch with Rupert, and he has got, I think, the man of the match with him.
I do, Simon. Jose Aguirre is with me. Jose, you've beaten England here in an all-black shirt. You've done it for the Barbarians now. How does that feel?
I suppose it feels pretty good. It's not easy to come here and get a win against England. I don't think it really matters which sort of team they put out there. So again, it wasn't easy tonight, but proud of the boys for coming through in the end.
You scored 2 tries of the highest calibre today, set up another. You're in great form at the moment. What's the future hold for you?
I think my form wasn't too bad. I let in about 3 tries, so I was a little bit surprised about this. But at the moment, I'm heading to Japan for a season there, and then maybe shoot back home to New Zealand for Super Rugby. So we'll see how we go.
The All Blacks play England in Auckland next Saturday. What's your prediction for that one?
I suppose being in New Zealand, I'm always going to back the All Blacks, but I suppose we're always tough to beat at home. But if there's any side that can beat us at home is definitely England. So I think it's going to be a really good spectacle, all 3 Test matches. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
Well, congratulations, Jose. Excellent game. You've beaten England at Twickenham 39-29. You're the Sky Sports man of the match. Well done.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.